do. Announcement. Did 4 Bs. 11 games. Go. Oh. Whoop. That there. Yeah. It's confirmed. You get any good stuff? Did you get some money? 60K? Get rid of this guy right here. And replace him with a lineman who called and Grandview King. Yeah. Confirming that purchase. Switch our lineman down to here. Get rid of our niggling one so we have a little bit more money. Do need to save up some money so we have some just in case we lose one of our blitzers or one of our black orcs. But we're not too far. There's only a couple rounds left in the game this season, so looks like we're down to just one last team we're waiting on. So we're gonna wait a couple minutes to pick up some guys. Or let a few people. I've run a little late today, so for a few people to get together. Do. Right. Go ahead and start taking a look. What happened in week 11? So let's see here. Let's start off the top here. Top team. So we're looking at my game from yesterday. The Wandering Wounders versus the Underworld Wolves. So we had 2 touchdowns to 1. We got our MVPs are a Black Orc, which is real nice. This is one of my good ones too. Getting him a little bit closer. It puts him 7 points away. Getting real close. He's got guard. He's got block. So getting him a little bit more will be real good for helping to grow him as that frontline badass. Mind getting him a strength bonus or something. That'd be super nice. Movement. I don't know. I don't know how to go with movement. We'll see what else. We'll see what happens with that. Then Calvin, the Flesh Golem here, picking up an MVP. That means he leveled up. That's real nice. Getting him. What did he end up picking up? He ended up picking up block. It looks like. Or no, he still has leveled up. We haven't seen his level up yet. Yeah, he already has block. That's a pretty good Flesh Golem. Armor breaks 11, 1 expulsion versus 5 armor breaks over here. Stats, 68% ball possession versus the 12 for Underworld Wolves. Picked up a little bit of my own and kind of ran with it, and then opponent's half I was able to pick up some as well. 54 blocks succeeded versus the 44. We got 3 KOs to 1 KO, 1 and 1 on the injuries, 92 and 52 or 56 on the yards running. No passing done. Blocks sustained. Looks like they are. Oh, there was actually 1 extra KO here for the for the Wounders, 2 sustained versus the 1 inflicted, and then we both had the 1 casualty. So points are pretty good. Got 2 touchdowns on Rotram. We got the MVP on Raskow and 2 points for the beatdown. Over here we got a touchdown, a beatdown, and a MVP on Calvin, which is pretty good. That actually gave him what he needed to get over. Well, actually, he didn't even need the beatdown. The MVP would have put it over. But yeah. Let's look at the armor, or the stats. So armor for the Wandering Wounders, pretty good. Held out pretty well. 83% is pretty nice. Injury, got 6 and 1. Not bad. Dodge, successfully blocked that dodge out of there. Dodge 5 and 3, not great, a bit low on there. But these guys aren't super great dodgers, and I think the commentary was talking about it. There's a little bit of not the best play, not best dodges, but it was. GFIs were real good, 8 and 1, 2 and 2 on the wake ups. A little bit of a bummer. I had a guy sitting out half the game, but it was what it was. 1 casualty failure. That's where I got hurt, and then we've got the 3 pickups successful. Dice were interesting, pretty even, and then you get to the 2s with like double the 2s. So lots and lots of 2s, and then everything else did pretty well. But then, like, it seemed like it wasn't really hampering to me. So the 2 was able to. They were in okay spots for the Wounders then. Looking at the Underworld Wolves, GFIs real good. 14 and 2 armor, 68%, still pretty good. Honestly, maybe a little low. But he's got. His werewolves aren't super tanky. I guess all of his stuff is 8s, so that's pretty okay. I think he's got the flesh golems which are 9 pluses or 10 pluses. So yeah, it's pretty good armor. Injuries 7 and 4, wake ups 2 and 1, casualties 1 successful, regeneration failed, and then we got 5 and 3 on the dodge, 62%, a little low there. 2 pickups. 3. I got lots of tackle. It was keeping the dodge from happening super well. And one of his wolves has dodge, and a couple of other guys I think had dodge as well. 2 pickups to 3 fails, and then 1 failed pass. Dice are looking pretty average. The spread 26 to 20 is a bit high. There's a little the point difference is a little high, but then the 413 is real low there. That can generally be pretty good to have those a bit higher. Let's look at the block dice. Block dice were pretty okay for Underworld Wolves. I just think he didn't have the hits. Like he wasn't able to. He got the hits, but wasn't able to follow through on much more than like a stun. He had a couple some stuns, but not really getting any farther than that. So with 16 stumbles and nobody with dodge on my team, so that's 27 total knockdowns there. We got the both downs, which were pretty much my entire team has blocks, so that's pretty heavily protected there. 31 pushes, which is you've got 15 and 15, so pretty average, a little high on the both downs, but he got good stuff because the 16 stumbles were all basically hits. So looking at the wounders, we have a lot of pushes, 25 looks like pushes. Yeah, it's 25 and 25, so way higher pushes than everything else, but then everything else is pretty average. Now, the one thing that was interesting is I had 4 dub skulls that happened, which was real brutal, but I was able to roll out of them because I have 3 rerolls, and then I got a couple of extra rerolls through that game, so that was pretty good overall. That changed the team. The Underworld Wolves, or the Wandering, we haven't seen the Underworld Wolves. They've got to level up, and then from the Wandering Wounders, we dropped the. You'll see at the very beginning of this clip. We dropped the Thrower because he'd gotten his armor busted, and I think he had some other problems. He was also just ready to be cycled out, and we replaced him with a lineman because I can get a lineman to do better stuff. But yeah, as you can see, a lot of my guys have block. We're working on these 2 black orcs, and then basically, I've got a good solid team here. Like my blitzers are all pretty good, lots of block and tackle. You start getting some strip ball and some other stuff. Maybe that'll be one of the first things I get the next things I get with like practical or something. So now let's go back to the schedule. Let's look at misheard, or sorry, let's look at Underworld Wolves real quick. Yeah. And so they're looking on the upgrade or level up for his flesh golem there. He does have a white with injury. Movement busted, which didn't seem to hamper him too much. He's got the guard on there, so it's got some good hits with the mighty blow, and then guard. So he's not running super far, but he's able to be in the right place to be effective with his guard piece. So it's not the worst. It's a pretty good piece to hold on to. Misheard versus Elf Emergency. So we've got the undead. Oh, I know. This works versus the wood elves here. So we've got questionable elf leveled up. Guards, we got a wrestle guard lineman. It's pretty good. And then this ghoul got block, so he's got a blodge ghoul with a -1 agility. That is probably a. I'm surprised he didn't kill that off. It might even be time to go. I don't know. Unless he tries to use it differently just to let it die, but an Agi 2, it's not going to be super useful. Block, dodge, and guard, but he's gonna have a real hard time picking up the ball. So, 1 touchdown with misheard, 12 armor breaks versus 3 armor breaks for Elf Emergency, 1 expulsion, 0 expulsions for Elf Emergency. Misheard picked up the ball and just didn't let him have it. 50% of own opponent's half, 31% of own half, 81% total of the game, and then 18% for the other side. 0 passes catches both teams, 32 blocks for the misheard versus 24 over on Elf Emergency, and then we get into the meat and potatoes of what happened. 5 KOs, 2 injuries versus 0 and 0 coming from Elf Emergency. 70 yards running versus 36 yards running on Elf Emergency. And then, we actually had additional KOs sustained on top of the 5 that were inflicted. So, and 2 casualties, yeah. Just the MVP for a questionable elf. On the other side, we've got MVP, 2 beatdowns, and a touchdown. So yeah, that's a pretty good run for misheard there. Dice. Well, actually, that's a bit of a stretch. It's still 6. I've got 4s, 4 3s, 4 4 or 4 6s, 10 5s, and then we're looking at 9 7 7 for the 1 1 or for the 4 1 or 4 2 1. So low numbers. But not a crazy spread. 6 is not like the point value there on the numbers on those, so it's not too far. Not too far off. Wow. Armor 76%, pretty good. Yeah, catches 3. That's good. Sorry, injuries 3. Yeah, that's good. Successfully got out of those. 1 failed catch, 3 to 1 on the GFIs. A 1 and 1 on the bribes, 2 bribes in there, and 2 pickups. Versus Elf Emergency, dodge 71%, pretty good. Well, actually no, dodge, not armor. The armor's dodge is okay. It's a bit low for their 4+ on their Agi. So armor 50/50, which is brutal. But I think that's right for the numbers. It just sucks that usually it's not as bad as that. But I think that's about right what the average is. 13 and 2 for injuries, 16 and 1 for the GFIs. Pretty good. Wake ups 4 and 3. That's gonna sink them a little bit there. Those 3 guys staying out for that long. A pickup that was successful. 2 casualties successful. 12 and 1 on the take routes, pretty good. 2 successful loners, that's really nice. And then 2 and 3 on stand-ups. So that tree got knocked down several times, which is kind of surprising. This spread seems a bit bigger. We got 24, 34, 36, 27, 32, 12 from 6 to 1. So it's a bit of a spread there. With 24 is the low and 36 is the high. Looks like it was high, like because there's even 34, which skews it, so it's not like it was sticking around 29 to 27 to 32. No, it's a good 12-point separation between those, so that's a bit interesting. It sounds like he got the 6s, like his high numbers in the wrong spots. Looking at block dice, we have not a lot of stumbles, 10 both downs. The both downs probably going to be okay to use. Lots of skulls, his highest number of skulls. Did he have to take many of them? Yeah, no, he was able to get away with it, even with the high number of skulls, so that's not too bad. High number of 11 pals is pretty good, and depending on who he's attacking, I think only the ghouls really don't have the dodge, so most of his guys are going to be okay with he's going to be able to hit successfully with a dodge, with a stumble as well. Misheard, on the other hand, 16 dodges, or stumbles, which is not great, but he had 6 pals, and that seemed to do it for him. The 13 both downs seemed to be okay as well, so that seemed to might be successful for him. And 17 skulls, which is a lot of skulls. Didn't have to choose any skulls, but it definitely caused some problems in here. Yeah, some like forced dub skulls, forced push. Yeah, so that's a bit rough. Let's go look over at that team. I'll take a look at Misheard. 1520, growing up in the world. That ghoul is going to get something we don't know yet what it is. No, we do know what it is. It's dot. It's block, because he already had guard. My bad. But he's got these other ghoul with like block, dodge, pickup. What is that thing called? Sure hands. It is sure hands, and sidestep, which is pretty good. His mummy is down here with guard, stand firm, and block, doing real good there. So he's got a good team here. That white is mighty blow and a strength bonus. So he's got a guy leveling up there pretty quick. So good stuff there. And he was up against Elf Emergency, who's at 460 now. Bit rough. Still playing at 10. He's playing down the lineman. But his dudes, he's got these 2 freshies down here. But the rest of this crew isn't too bad. He's got his 2 catchers that are pretty well leveled. I think his war dancers have been put through the ringer. He had a couple of really good ones when we first started the season. He's built back up with strip ball and tackle there. And then the second one is a new guy. So Tree is just sitting. He's got grab. That's pretty good. So he's just moving along. He's getting close to his next one, though. So we'll see what kind of horrifying nature happens there. Next game, Flyboys versus the Stinky and Originals. That's the human team again versus the Nurgle team. Looking at the MVP, we've got a Blitzer getting his heading towards his second level, super close, and then we've got a Pestigore, a nicely leveled Pestigore, who's been just pushing on up, which is pretty good. Looks like he does have an oh, it's just like it must have been miss next or something, or just nothing happened. So we got 2 touchdown to 1 versus for Flyboys there. 7 armor breaks for Flyboys, and the Stinky and Original guys got 10. Stats. We're looking at a game mostly controlled by Stinky and Original guys, which is interesting. 31 and 31 for Stinky, 62% for the Stinky and Original guys, 37 for the Flyboys. No passes or catches for either team. 41 blocks succeeded by Flyboys, 55 by Stinky and Originals. But then you got 4 KOs for Flyboys and 2 KOs for Stinky and Originals. 1 injury inflicted each. 90 yards run for the humans, 72 for the Nurgle. Look at the backside, and looks like there was an extra KO sustained by the Nurgle there. Scores are pretty good. It's a pretty average. Got usually 1 to 2 beatdowns. We got a touchdown. We got 2 touchdowns. Not too bad. Looking at the points here, so foul appearance was average. Armor was average, I think. Dodge, pretty okay. That's a good number. I think it is about on par for what humans are. Catches 1 and 2, that's a bummer. GFIs are good. Injuries, pretty good. Tentacles, 100% successful on tentacles. Bonehead was really solid for him. Loner, 3 successful loner rolls. That's really nice. Casualties, 0 and 1. Lightning Bolt was successful, which is a bummer. 2 pickups, though. 2 wake-ups after KO. And dice, pretty good. We got a low 6s and low 1s, and then pretty good in the middle, which is generally a really good game for someone. Sticky and Originals, we've got 75% on the armor. Pretty good. We've got his weaker guys, the Pestigores, with only like the 8 armor. Then he's got his big dudes with the 9. His guards with the 9, so that's pretty nice. Oh, my camera is like hiding out in the corner. That explains. That's funny. Let's... You hiding down in the corner there. I just looked up and realized it wasn't working. There we go. Hi, everybody. So then we've got casualties 1 and 1, regeneration 1 and 1, pickups 1 and 1, dodges 2 and 2. changes up, but only 50% on those. It's kind of rough. Quick after KOs, really nice. A successful bribe, 12 and 3 on the really stupids. That's nice to do, and 0 on the catches, which is a bummer. And then we have here, you can see okay in the middle, like at the 25 fours, that's usually pretty good. 26s, and then 17 ones. So a little bit on the other side, higher on the ends, a little bit lower in the middle, not super great. Block dice, pretty good. 19, 6, 19, 44, 13, 9 from bottom to top. So this looks pretty good. Did he have to take any bad? Is it both down that could be rough because his knights have to level up to get the block, but otherwise pretty okay. So not the worst there. Now let's look at the flyboys. 11 and 15. So this one's pretty good because those pestigores, they can get dodge, but they don't start with it. So if he's got any fresh ones or not super leveled up ones, he's gonna have some great times. Wow. Sorry, those both teams. With the unoriginal guys, the 13 dodges. I think this flyboy, because this team is developed, I think a couple of them had dodge, so that's gonna be not super useful. But the 19 pals is good. Versus with flyboys, 11 pals, but also 15 stumbles. So he's gonna get some good range there. Lots of both downs. Again, your humans can get dodge pretty easy or block pretty easily, so that's not too bad. And then 14 skulls. Let's see, did he have to take any skulls? Oh wow. Henry Hap Arnold 3 double skull re-rolled into a skull and a both down, so that's a bit rough. There's a dub skull into a both down and a push. Another dub skull into a skull and a both down. That's some brutal rolls there. But in the end, he was able to pull it out. Let's go take a look at the flyboys real quick. 1910, they're one of the higher TV teams I think we have on our stuff. He still has a couple of guys who are like damaged out, like the 7 armor. His 2 catchers are real badly hurt there, and then his blitzer just not going to be able to take a hit. But he's with the agi, he's able to deal with it. Here's what I was looking at. We got both of his catchers got dodge. This blitzer's got dodge, so it's not going to be, if he's got one of the other guys, it's going to be really good to use dodge against. Lineman with wrestle's pretty good. The sidestep and was that rushing? Sidestep, sure feet, and sprint on those catchers means those guys are 11 total pushes with a sure feet. Like they can GFI it crazy bounce. So, and then we got a thrower with an extra reroll. Like all in all, this is a powerful team. Someone needs to really get in here and do some damage on these guys. Basically, his last catcher, is just waiting on the agi bonus there. So yeah. And let's look at who's the other team. Stinky and original guys. Stinky. Looking at, so humans, is he the highest? No, the Lost Presidents, the other team, looks like they are the highest pointed team on the group. Stinky and Originals 1690, so it looks like they got a little bit of a bonus into this fight as well. And a pretty good team over. Oh, their Pestigores are doing some work. He's got a wrestle tackle one there, Mighty Blow Claw there. We've got a Mighty Blow up here. 3 of his Nurgle Warriors have the block, so that's pretty good. And that Beast is doing good already. There. Okay. Next is Godzilla Cult and Aves of a Fetter. So Godzilla Cult's been having a rough time of it. We've got a touchdown each, so a tie game there. 3 armor breaks for the Godzilla Cult versus 3 passes, 10 armor breaks for Aves of a Fetter. We've got a Croxor getting an MVP and leveling up. That's pretty good. What did he end up getting? Guard. I like it. And then we've got a Blitzer who's working his way. It looks like he just had it. Did he just level up? Like he's had that for a bit. I don't remember what that's like. 816 like 31 or something like that. Yeah. So he's got a bit to go. Or 32. Is it doubled in? So next we got ball possession, 25% for Godzilla Cult, 43 for Aves. The humans just picked it up and held onto it, or tossed it around apparently. So 3 passes that were successful. That's pretty good. We're gonna get 11 blocks succeeded, 36 blocks succeeded for Aves. 32, or sorry, Wow, 3 KOs inflicted by its Godzilla Cult, 2 in injuries inflicted, and then on 1 and 2 KOs versus injuries for Abe's. And let's see, let's take a look. So that was 4 and 2, 4 and 2, 1 and 2. So just the ones that were inflicted, no self-sustained, no self-inflicted injuries. The stats are what you'd believe, or what the SPP is what you'd believe based on the stats. Like, got a couple of good hits in there, got some good injuries, and a couple of, and a touchdown, So good times. There was a pass in there, so pretty alright. Godzilla Cult. Bonehead successful 9 times, 100%. That is pretty good. Armor 58%. That is less great. 14 and 10 on there. Injuries 7 and 3. So it looks like just the 3 failed. Catches 2 and 0. Pretty good. Leap 3. Oh, he's got a skink with leap. I hope it's a skink, because if it, actually, what I hope is it's a Sora, because that's fucking cool. But looks like some skink with some leap there. Now I'm jumping over the dudes. Might have to go look and see what the animation of that is. That would be cool. Dodge 7 and 1, GFI's 3 and 0, casualties 3 and 1, and the dice are pretty okay. Bit high, 14's 14 versus 19, but they're okay on the numbers. It's still pretty good in the middle. That's really what you want. Abe's of a Fetter 54% on the dodge or rough. Not able to get around very quick. It looked like. The armor 68%, that's about on par. Injuries 5 and 3, catches 4 and 3, a little low there on the end there. Pickups 3 and 0, passes 3 and 0. Bonehead 7 and 1, casualties 1 and 3 failed casualties, with a 1 and 1 wake up. And here's the good points. You got the 15 sixes, 16 ones, and then all your meat and potatoes in the center with some 22 fives and 20. The block dice, lots of skulls for Abe's of a Fetter. 15 skulls, which is about the average number, looking like. 16 stumbles and 11 pushes, which is or 11 pals. That's going to do really good work, especially against the stumbles are going to do really good stuff against most of the Godzilla cult there. Did he have to deal with any of the skulls? So it looks like a skull. Skull both down skull into a push skull pow, that's a lot, and then getting a pow out of that. So it looks like the skulls weren't hugely effective. They forced a reroll, but that was about, there was a dub skull there that forced into a stumble. So looking back over at Godzilla Cult, 22 skulls. Wow, that is high. Their numbers are a bit skewed weirdly. The thing that really throws us off is only the 24 pushes. So we got 24 pushes, 22 skulls. Usually the pushes are about double that. 16 both downs, 14 stumbles, and 12 pows. So lots of stumbles, lots of pows. Against the humans, you're going to get a couple with stumble, but not all of them. But then all them skulls. How bad did that go for him? Just a lot of them. Holy crap. But it doesn't look like he had to take any of them. But the both downs probably caused some problems, because I don't know how many. Let's take a look at Godzilla Cult and see. He's back up to 1740, which is real nice. Soras all have block now, and he's got 2 skinks with block, so that both downs aren't too bad. Yeah. Someone needs to kill this Mothra thing. It's getting like, oh, actually Jet Jaguar it's taking the lead on the run to level 7 there. And then let's go back to Aves, 1810 on Aves. And we're looking at lots of ability scores. Catcher with Agi 4 and 9 movement. Holy crap. I got a movement busted catcher, but he's got still Agi 4 and still 7, so he can go where he wants to go. I got a strength boost up in there. We got an ogre with like 3 level ups. Like, yeah, this is a really good team. Hard pressed to do super great against them. Looking at Warpstone Rock and Roll versus the Bull Dwarves Slaymen. We got the Warpstone coming in with a success, a win, and it looks like we have a. Did he level up? Did that happen? Or is he already leveled up? I think he might. Maybe that was it? Let's pull open. I want to just look at this and see this game. No, down to discussion. Warp stone. So this was a good one. So what we have, get a minus AV on a troll, which is a rough one. He lost a 0 SPP blitzer, and then did Cutney level up, or is Cutney? I think Cutney leveled up a couple of games ago. So that's a bit of a bummer, getting the extra points, because it doesn't do anything for him. But that that blitzer is a savage beast of savage rights. Yeah. So we just had the one death. 22 armor breaks for Warpstone. On the Bull Dwarves, we've got 1 touchdown, 23 armor breaks, 2 expulsions. That's rough. And his Bull Centaur Big Daddy 2 is coming up on level 2. And he's got dodge. Good. 50-50 on the ball possession. That's pretty nice. No passes on either team. 27 blocks succeeded for Warpstone versus 37 for Bull Dwarves. Wow, Warpstone, 2 KOs inflicted, 2 injuries inflicted. Bull Dwarves, 6 injuries or KOs, 7 injuries inflicted, 2 kills. I am genuinely impressed. I don't know what happened there. That might be interesting. Like, it's probably like a single turn that just like goes horribly wrong kind of thing. Because putting up those kinds of numbers, 7 injuries, that's a crazy amount. 30 yards running, 98 yards run. We'll have to see what kind of injuries he put down, because that'll be a hard team to. Like, next game is gonna be rough. Looking at that again, actually, Warp Stone. Let's look at that. Jump to Warpstone here. This is miss next game for 1. We go to Niggle for 1, and then we've got a Skull. His Troll getting an AV armor value bonus decrease. Boar Dwarves getting 2 miss next games, so that's kind of surviving. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he was able to roll out of a couple of those injuries that were sustained, but like look at 8 injuries sustained versus 7 inflicted, so there's an extra on top of that. So, but it looks like 5 of them actually stuck. We've got a Niggle on a 15 SPP Goblin, which that makes sense. Miss next game on a Goblin, a Dead Blitzer, and an AV busted Troll, which is a big bummer. That thing needs to. It's good that is happening, because that thing needs to die. That Tentacles Block Guard Stand Firm Claw is just horrifying. So lots of points on Bull Dwarves, lots of points over on Warpstone. Fortunately, 9 of those points, like the MVP going to Cutney, is kind of a bummer, especially with the level 7 piece. You're not getting those points to other guys. So, yeah, that's a bit suck there. Looks like dice are high on the ends and lower in the middle, but they're still not terrible. Warpstone was able to just lots of dice overall. With a 22, it's a low outlier, so 29 to 36 is not too crazy either. Or 26 there to 36, so about 10 spread. Could be a little bit tighter. That could have caused some of the stuff. So dodging. 75% with 22 and 7. Armor 12 and 21. So yeah, no more leveling for it. So those 9 points are just going into the toilet essentially. Be like 9 points going to one of your inducement players or something. One of your star players. It's not helping you. Which is a bummer. But they're a good player to be making plays with, but you're just not getting that SPP on your team. So 22 and 7 dodges, armor 12 and 21. Ooh, 36%. That is hurtful. 10 and 0 for the GFIs, pretty good. Injuries 16 and 9, not 6 and 9. Casualties 50-50 on that one, 5 and 5. Loner 1 successful. Good job. You needed something good out of there. Wake ups 6 and 4, so that's rough for them sticking out a couple turns there. 2 pickups, a catch, a pass. Really stupid's 1 and 2. That sucks. That's where that troll was just not putting together. He got his head knocked around. And then we got a regeneration fail. Looking at Bull Dwarves, there was a bomb on the field, which that definitely caused some problems. We got 2 successful bombs there, or hits there. So 66% on that. Armor 52%, better than the 36, but rough. Dodges 3 and 0. Okay. GFIs 17 and 3. That's just Bull Dwarves dancing around everything. Wake up after KO 2 and 0. That's real nice. Catches 1 and 2. Casualties 4 failed. Interception missed the interception there with a fail. Pickups 2 and 1. Dice higher in the middle. We got some 30s on the 4s and the 5s, and we got 6 on the 13 or 13 6s and 18 1s. The block dice. Similar story. I don't even know what that means. 10 both downs, 9 skulls, bit heavy on that. But they got 14 pals, which is real good for Bull Dwarves, and the stumbles are pretty good as well, I think. Don't know how much of that team has it's gonna have dodge. A little bit, because I don't think it's hard for them to get it, but take a look. And it doesn't look like they had any serious problems anyway, so. Going back to Warpstone, 7 skulls, real nice to see. 7 pals, bit less nice to see. But 10 stumbles, that's going to be good for most of the team. That's 17 total knockdowns there, that's pretty good. And a couple of both downs. If it's his blitzers doing the work there, then they've got blocks, so we're doing good. So, pretty good all around. Next we're looking at Gang loses Blood Ball versus Dakimakuris. Dakimakuris pulling out the win, them Amazons doing the works. So we got a touchdown for the Blood Elves, or Dark Elves there, for the Gang losses football. 1 touchdown, a pass, 11 armor breaks. And then an MVP, his lineman got a level with an injury, so he picked up kick. Someone to stay in the middle, maybe just needed something to control the field a bit. And then on the other side, we got 2 touchdowns, 18 armor breaks, an expulsion, and a lineman, or linewoman, looking real close to her 2nd level. She's already got block dodge, so 1 more point, and she'll be on her way to. So possession, 18% for Gang losses. Dark Elves just not able to hold the ball down against those crazy Amazons who had 87% ball possession. Dark Elves did get a successful pass, but then 46-46 on the blocks succeeded for both teams. And then we end up with the true downside of the game there. 4 injuries inflicted on both teams. No injuries or kills inflicted by Gang losses versus Dakimakuris, those crazy Amazons. 5 injuries inflicted. It's just going to do the work for it right there. It speaks for itself. And then you get you see the numbers: 38 yards run for the Dark Elves, 112 yards run for the Amazons with 8 yards of passing. It looks like the numbers were sustained through, so they didn't get any of their own hurt themselves at all. And the SPP is exactly what you expect. You've got Puppy Poyle getting his MVP. We got a pass from Mac, and we've got a touchdown from Sweet D. And on the other side, we got Robin Sina, who's getting the MVP. Rise Kamishiro, sorry. 10 SPP. Holy crap. And then we've got 2 touchdowns, looks like, possibly. It could be they didn't have any passes, so 2 touchdowns there, Rumi and Morgiana. But yeah, that's gonna do it. So Gang losses, look at their stats. 60% armor with 23 and 15. Injuries 13 and 5. 72% wake ups 4 and 0. Always love to see that 0 at the end there. Dodges 86% with 31 and 5. Exactly what you expect from Dark Elves. Catches 3 successful. Pickups 3 successful. GFIs 4 successful. Casualties 3 and 2. Pass 1 and 0, and a jump up was successful. Dice a little bit high on the end. The 5s and 6s are a full 10 points above everything else. That can be good, but it also can be really bad, because that's where you're going to get your guys getting injuries and stuff like that, which is where the 5 injuries came in. Dakimakuris, on the other side, 50% on the armor. Just crazy that that team doesn't die more often. Injuries: 11 successful, 0 fails. Dodge 8 and 4. Bribe failed. That's a bummer. Catch is 3 and 1. Wake up after KO 2 and 1. Pickups 2 and 1. GFI is 8 and 2. Dice, pretty okay. 13, some 17, 18, 21. Pretty good. All right. Looking at that team, let's go take a look at the Blood Gang, the Dark Elves. How are the Dark Elves doing here? Got a lineman out. We got a move busted lineman there. He's the one that just got kicked. Or got kicked, not got kicked. I got a move. Oh, wow. His Witch Elf pulling out a agi move. Or, sorry, a movement plus for his first roll. That's pretty good. Got a runner with a strength, armor, and an armor assassin, which I'm still entertained by that. He's not doing super awesome. But all in all, this is not bad. Got some places that this other blitzer needs a little bit of help. Needs another level or two to get him really solid, really doing some solids. But all in all, not terrible. And they're dark elves, so they can survive having a couple loners on the team, because like with 4 across the board, they can do pretty well. He's got a lineman there with a 5+, so that is pretty okay. Let's see what our schedule looks like for week 12. So we've got Underwolves versus Misheard. So Underwolves has been pulling out some pretty good plays so far. Let's look at the numbers here. Misheard's number 3 right now, and Underwear is down on 12. But I'd seen him do a couple of, like, he's got 3 wins. I've seen him pull some like good win or good draw in there. So they're close in stats. We'll see. This is probably gonna go to Misheard. But with the similar stat line, similar TVs, you can say that like it could be a tight game there. Wandering Wounders versus the Flyboys. So the Flyboys are number 6, with the Orcs here, number 11. We've got a 1910 versus a 1330. Now, this usually is not great, but it's so big that I'll be able to put I'll be able to get a star player, maybe 2 star players, depending on how I play my points, and a lightning bolt. And those things put together, like Varog is a really good dude to have on the field. And so like I've beaten some higher TV points being like with a lightning bolt and a Varog. So we'll see what happens there. Probably going to go to the Flyboys, because Klepto is a pretty good coach, and he's got a really skilled team, but he's not doing super hot with the 4 losses this game. So, but then I've got 7. So what are you gonna do? Alpha Emergency versus Godzilla Cult. This is an interesting one. Godzilla Cult, if they can mark, they can do pretty good, because those elves just aren't gonna be able to. If they can get their hits, they'll be okay. So looking at Alpha Emergency, he's number 2, 7 and 4, but he's lost a couple of like strange games you wouldn't really expect him to lose, kind of thing. Like this up against Misheard, which I guess it's not really unreasonable, but he lost against the number 3 team. The number 2 team did. Godzilla Cult is a pretty good player. He's gotten a bout of bad luck and just not able to pull the wins out. His team has gotten beat around a little bit, so it's probably going to go to Alpha Emergency, but we'll see what happens. Godzilla Cult knows what they're doing, so they can pull it out. Steakian Original versus Warpstone. What do we got here? Where are these guys? Warpstone, this is 8 and 9, so this is middle of the pack, guys. Warpstone with the 1290. Oh, is he going into this without his troll? He is. That is gonna hurt. Not having that big guy in the center is gonna be painful, especially with Stinky and Original is still like, yeah, they don't have any players out. They've got the extras, they've got the beast, they've got some pretty good Nurgles. I think I'm gonna have to call this game going to Stinky and Original, but we'll see. I don't know. That could be like the Warp Stones pulled some pretty good stuff out. Aves versus Gang Loses. This is pretty interesting. That's the #1 player. So unfortunately for Aves or for Gang Losses, I'm gonna have to go with Aves. Aves is like 130 is a really good coach. He's likely to go on to the next level, up to Division 3 on this team, because he's #1 on the thing. And honestly, no one's close to him. He's got the like 7-2-2. The next closest is Alpha Emergency with 7-4 or 7-0-4. Even so, if he'd have to take a loss, and then would have to take a win to, I think, to get him up there. And I still think that it'd be still 130 being higher. So, but he's the Dark Elves. They could pull a fast one. He does. Aves got his team has some has some weaknesses in there on those players. He's got several players with real low armor, but the Dark Elves aren't really bashers, so it's not likely to have to do some stuff. But he might be able to get some good hits in with his Witch Elves. Maybe he can get a few points off of for his Witch Elves. So Bull Dwarves versus the Presidents here. So the Presidents are 5, Bull Dwarves are 7. So this is going to be an interesting one. Humans are pretty good all-rounder, and Kitakaze is a pretty good coach. Spoony Bard has been doing some pretty okay work with that team. It's a 1500 team going up against a 1990. It's good players. They're really well developed. But I don't know about this one because Bull Dwarves is going to get like 400 in inducements. And that's really going to be... that's a lightning bolt and, you know... a couple of like extra players to bring, like superstars to bring on, or like taking a reroll and a lightning bolt. Like there's a lot of different choices you can take that'll screw that over, and so we'll see. That'll be an interesting one. Probably going to Aves, but I don't think we should put Lost Presidents out of that, or probably going to Lost Presidents. Sorry, but I don't know that we should completely mark out the Bull Dwarves because that line, the defensive line, man, you're just gonna lock his humans down. And they're all like, he's got a bunch of like Claw Mighty Blow, the dwarves on the front line. Now the one thing is that they're humans, so they already have 8 armor. But that means that they're normally 9 plus. With the claw, they're 8 plus, so they're gonna be a bit squishier. So it's still effective. I don't know. We'll see what happens. The last one is Dakimakuris versus finishing moves, and finishing moves, I think he's probably not going to be able to pull the W on this one, mostly because that Dakimakuris has a really, really good team, and he's just not going to be able to hit them. Too many dodges, things like that. I don't think that finishing moves has lots of tackle, so he's not going to be able to like lock those guys down. So it's just going to be like the Dakimakuris running all over the place. Staying at distance, picking up the ball, adjusting around the top of his gobblers, throwing it over the top of him, and I think this is going to be a Dakimakuris taking a win there, and if he's very lucky, farming some SVP. So that is next week's outlook on things. We will have to see next week. Did we miss any games the week before? I'm trying to remember. I feel like we watched them all, but maybe there was one we missed. I do not remember. Anyway, yeah, so we're waiting on Lost Presidents versus finishing moves this week. Probably going to go to Lost Presidents again. Talked a little bit to the coach for that team. What's his name? King Cosmos. I think he was kind of being done. He had some fun with it, but probably going to move on from that. So pretty good all in all. But yeah, so that'll be it for tonight. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. I will dump this over onto YouTube as soon as I can. Have it up in the next hour or two, hopefully. And we will see you guys for my game in middle of the week, and then next Monday, for week 11. We're getting down to the end. Or sorry, this is week 11, so week 12. Only 2 games left. We'll see who can get the points there at the end. So. On. You guys have a good evening. See ya.